Hello and welcome to GMEC Lesson 3. Lovely to see you again and have you back. I'm DrChips and I hope you are well. And I'm really excited about the lesson that we're going to be doing today because it's all about well-being and how well-being links to civil engineering and how civil engineers think about well-being of us people when they are starting on projects, whether that's buildings at hospitals or whether that's buildings in community spaces. It's really important that we think about people's well-being. So what is well-being? Well, well-being is all about thinking about our own health and doing things to support our own health, and that's both physical health and also mental health as well. So thinking about how we take care of ourselves to ensure that we have the best possible physical and mental health. And we've got a few different activities coming up today. And we're going to meet someone who knows all about how spaces and buildings can help people with their well-being. We're going to meet Trish from Maggie Centres in Oldham. I did an interview with her earlier, which is great, so I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. And then I'm also going to jump outside in a bit and do a maths-based activity as well, linking to today's lesson. So let's make a start. So first of all, the first activity that I'm going to share with you today is a sort of spot what's going on activity. I've got an image here and it's in your packs, in the lesson packs. And what I want you to do is see if you can spot people engaging in their activities to support their well-being. So I'm going to go quiet for a second. And I'm going to let you just have a look at this, and then you can have a look if you've got this in front of you as well. Where can you see people taking part in activities that you think might be supporting their well-being? I'm going to go quiet for a couple of seconds and let you have a look, and then I'm going to share what I think I can spot. Okay, so did you spot anybody doing anything that might be supporting their well-being? Well, I think I did. I'm not going to go through all of them because I don't want to give them all away. But I can see, for a start, the person on the bicycle there. They're obviously taking part in some physical activity, going out on the bike. I like to go out on my bike. And that is supporting their well-being. I find that helps both my physical and mental health. My physical health because I'm getting out of breath, particularly when I cycle up any kind of incline uphill. And I think it really helps my mental health because it takes me away from any screens, because I spend a lot of time on working on screens as part of my job. So it's nice to be out, noticing nature around me, and not thinking about work or being attached to a computer. So there's one. I also think this person here is obviously enjoying taking part in their hobby of painting, I presume, unless they're a professional painter and they're there working. But I think more likely they are enjoying their hobby of painting. So again, that's an opportunity to do something which is relaxing for them, taking them away from any worries in the week that they might have and stresses about work, etc., and enjoying an activity which relaxes them. So there's two examples there. I want you to see how many other examples on that picture you can see of people taking part in activities to support their well-being. And I've just spotted it on that picture somewhere. There is a tiny DrChips. So thank you to our graphic designer who has put that into the picture. I've just spotted it. You have to look very closely to see if you can spot. It's like, where's Wally? But with me. I won't say any more on that. See if you can spot the tiny Dr. Chips in there as well. So that's your first activity. Then second activity as part of this lesson is to think about what it is that you might do to support your well-being. And there's different types of things that we can do. And then we're going to think about perhaps ordering these in what we do most or least of. So let me show you what I mean a bit more. If I go back to this slide here and click down, we've got 6 different sort of approaches, things that you can do to support your well-being. I'm just going to quickly go through these, and these again are in the pack, and you can cut these out as a 6. So we've got connecting or connect, so connecting with others. It's vital to our well-being. Make sure you continue to reach out to your friends, family, and course mates online. So this is talking about, particularly at the moment, when we are doing online, lots of our learning online. It's important to continue to connect with friends where we can. Giving, so helping others, increases our feelings of well-being, and I definitely know that's true. I know that when I do pleasant things to support others, that makes me feel good as well. Taking notice, so take notice is all about being present in the moment, as well as taking notice of good things even in difficult times. And I think that's one of the things I love about going out on my bike, because you are present in the moment. You are observing things that you're passing, you're feeling the sense of speed and wind going across you, and you are living in the present. You're not worrying about things either to come in the future or the things that happened in the past. Be active, so we talked about that one. Doing some exercise where you can. Maybe if you're a bit older, you might go to the gym. Obviously, we can't at the moment. But it's about getting your daily or weekly fix of an activity. Being healthy, really important. So looking after yourself in terms of nutrition, making healthy choices where you can, but also occasionally, understanding that a bit of a treat, occasional treat, is part of a healthy diet as well. And learning and discover. This is a really big one for me. I know that I am happiest often when I am working on some new project and learning about, for me, how to code a new set of neon lights at the moment I've got that I'm trying to get them to flash all different colours and make something for my daughter. So that's learning and discovering new things is important. So what I want you to do then, next activity, is to cut these out and organise these 6 ideas into a pyramid 6. So put the things you do most at the top to get an idea of, out of these 6 things, which you already do the most of, and which you might do less of. And then you might think to yourself, well, I'm going to try doing a little bit more of giving or being healthy. You can use this to reflect on what you already do and what you could perhaps do a bit more of to look after your own well-being. Now, how does this fit into our overall project and looking at civil engineering and designing a community space? Well, spaces and buildings can be designed in either a way to support or not support our well-being. And when done well, buildings can really do lots to support the mental and physical health of people. And one person that knows a lot about this is Trish, who is the head of Maggie's Centre in Oldham. And this is a space based in Oldham Hospital, which provides support for people that are undergoing treatment for cancer. And a lot has been done to think about how the building and space can support, and the way the space is used, can support people's well-being. So I caught up with what Trish has got to say about how the Maggie space helps people's well-being. Let's go to that now. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to talk to us about well-being and how the Maggie Centre supports people's well-being. And I remember when I came up there and you talk about how it's a very peaceful place, and part of the design that's enabled that is kind of working with nature, and I remember the tree in the middle. Do you want to just tell us a little bit more about how, the features of the building that kind of works with nature for well-being?
Yeah, so the building's very important, but also the outside space that we use. So almost bringing the outside in. So if no one's been to Maggie's Oldham, we almost look like a tree house or a matchbox that's on stilts. But in the centre of the building, we've got a silver birch tree, which is the tree of life. And it's surrounded by this curved glass. And it looks down into the garden underneath. And, the garden that's underneath doesn't get an awful lot of light. So a lot of the plants are like woodland plants. There's lots of ferns, there's lots of trees. And we have bird boxes under the building. So we get lots of birds, squirrels, lots of nature there. We have got like a water feature, but it's actually the water that comes off the roof of the building. So it also waters the plants underneath.
Right.
And because it's a calming building and there's a lot of glass and you can see outside, it's quiet. So you wouldn't think that you were opposite a busy hospital.
Yeah,
you could be anywhere. And, looking at the views, we look over the Pennines because we're high up. And it's so peaceful and calming that just, people come in, visitors come in and just sit and watch. We've got a balcony. People can just sit in the garden. We've got a greenhouse as well that people can potter in. So it's... it's just a lovely place to be.
It is. It's a really, really lovely space.
Who knew at Maggie's Oldham we'd have a bright yellow floor? But it's amazing what it does to the centre.
Yeah, and it totally works because obviously I said I've been there, and you don't. Now you've said it, I remember the lovely bright warm orange floor, but it just works with the tones of the wood that we can see behind you. I didn't come away thinking, or walking going, whoa, orange floor. It just all works.
It does work. And, when the light comes off the glass onto the yellow floor, you get oranges, you get red, you get yellows. It's just spectacular. Yeah. It is.
And it is spectacular. And what a great note to finish on there. So we'll leave it there. Thanks. I'll let you get on with your day. Thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome back. And wasn't that fascinating? I really enjoyed speaking to Trish. I really enjoyed hearing just how thought out the space is to support the well-being of those people that are using it. And as I said in the interview, I have been to the space before, and it really is a magical space. Particularly when we're recording this, there's quite a bit of snow around and stuff and falling, and I should imagine that the views out across the Pennines, seeing the snow falling onto the Pennines, and also the snow coming down through the centre of the building. There's a glass enclosed bit around the silver birch that Trish mentioned. Must look beautiful. So thank you again to Trish for joining us for that. Right now, so back to your lesson today. Next task is all about encouraging you to think about how or what buildings could be included within a community space to support elements of well-being. So let me show you the sheet that we've got for you for this. Here we go. So we've created a template called Building in Well-being. And what we want you to do is think about, for each of these 4 elements of well-being, what kind of building or feature could you incorporate into your community space to support these elements of well-being. So let me give you some of my ideas, examples that are included in the lesson plan here, but I'm sure you don't have to do exactly the same as me. I'm sure you will come up with some fantastic alternatives to this. But to give you an idea to get you started, you might include something like a library to support people being able to learn and discover in your community space. You might, for example, think about including one of the you might have seen these in parks, like a gym, and all these pieces of equipment, really clever. They use your own body weight against you when you do the different activities on them. So you might include something like that. You might include a pond or a water feature and a kind of wilding area which will attract lots of wildlife to support people in just taking notice, being distracted from anything they might be currently worrying about, and just having a look at any wildlife that's on the pond. Or you might include something like a community centre, and actually this is a picture of a community centre near me in Swinton called Critchley House. And it's a community centre which is used for a variety of different functions. It was set up by Age UK, but can be used by different organisations, and it allows people to connect together in the community. So those are just my examples, but I'm sure that you can think of some alternatives as well. So now next up today, I'm going to have to say bye-bye and jump onto my phone, because we're also going to do a maths activity, and as part of that activity, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to talk about how we can estimate height, and we're going to use a really clever device, a piece of paper. Yep, just a single piece of paper, and I'm going to use that to estimate the height of a couple of features from my road. So join me in just 1 second, don't go anywhere, and I will go outside. See you in a bit. Okay, so I've actually come down to the local park to demonstrate how this activity works. It's a beautiful morning this morning, really clear skies, but freezing cold. There's an easterly wind at the moment across the UK, bringing cold air masses down from the north, which is why it's so cold at the moment. But let me show you how to do this activity. It's all explained on the sheet. Apologies, mine's a bit crumpled now because I've been kneeling on it, working out how to do this activity. But what it basically shows you is that you can measure the height of very tall things like this big tree behind me just using a single piece of A4 paper and some clever maths. How cool is that? Now, the first thing that you need to do is you need to correctly fold your piece of paper, and it's got the steps how to do this on the sheet, into a right angle triangle. And by the way, there is a link on the sheet to someone else demonstrating this by measuring the Dublin spike. So if I'm not very clear or I make a mistake, please double check that I've got it right by following that link as well. But as I understand it, once you have folded your piece of paper, and let me just put my sheet away, and here I've got the piece of paper folded into a right angle triangle, then what you can do is you can use the trigonometry of the triangle to get the height of the tree. And let me show you how. Apologies for the poor camera work because I'm just on the selfie on my phone here, but I'm going to turn around so the tree is now behind the camera, but you can see me. What you need to do is you need to hold the right angled corner, 90-degree corner of the piece of paper, and then you need to ensure that the bottom edge of the triangle is parallel to the ground, and you need to place the point there against your eye. And what you're doing, is you're looking up to this other point on the triangle here and getting that lined up with the top of the object that you are trying to measure. So I'm just going to do that now. Now, obviously I'm just using one hand because I'm filming with the other hand, so it might not be as accurate, but you can get it a lot more accurate by taking your time and care in doing this. Let me try my best here. So if I get that right, move back until, yes, right. Now where I am there, when I'm looking at the top of this right angle triangle, that lines up with the top of the thing that I'm trying to measure. And that now means that this point that I find myself at, the distance away from the tree, is exactly the same as the actual height of the tree. How cool is that? So now what I can do, is I can measure the distance from here to the tree, whether I might use a meter ruler or I could use my feet, and then measure the length of one of my feet and multiply it up. But that distance is exactly the same as the vertical height. How cool is that? So you're able to measure the size of something as tall as that. Look at the size of that tree, using nothing more than a piece of paper. So give it a go. Obviously at the moment we're only allowed out for our walk and exercise each day, which is what I'm doing this morning, which is why I've come down to the park. So maybe if you've got a suitable local space, you can try it there, or you can try it with measuring something like your house from outside, wherever it might be that you live. Okay, so how cool is that? I never knew that just with a single piece of paper you could create a simple device to measure and estimate heights of things around you. So please do give that a go as well. And just before I go and I finish, I've got another sort of challenge for you here as well, with estimating heights, because here I have a picture of a waterfall. And I wonder whether you could think about how, and you might have to pause me on this and have a bit of a chat, but how do you think you could estimate the height of that waterfall? I wonder, is there anything there that we might be able to use to help us estimate the height? Pause me now and have a think and have a discussion with your teacher, or chat to yourself if you're at home. How could you estimate the height of that? There we go. Now, I hope you really enjoy the lesson today, and I'm really excited to share that we actually got some photos of people enjoying taking part in the previous GMEC lessons. Let me just find them on here. I meant to show them at the start, apologies. Here are some pupils, I believe from Roadheath School, taking part in the maths activity which we set, measuring out the size of our homes and getting an idea of the scale of our homes and creating a sort of scale diagram. So thank you for sharing those. Please do share any of photos that you've got of you taking part in these activities. Connect with us on Twitter, and I will get the Twitter account details to pop up onto the screen now. There you go, so you can connect with us and share any pictures that you've got of you enjoying taking part. Look at the big smile here of taking part in GMEC. That's exactly what we want to see. So thank you again for joining me for this week. Enjoy doing all of those activities, and I look forward to seeing you next week for the final of our GMEC lessons. Bye for now.